이 위대한 구원. 크로스포인트 주니어 처치에서 전해드리는 이 시간, 담당의 Darin Pantley 형제입니다.
Greetings. This is Darin Pantley from Crosspoint Bible Church. When Paul wrote to Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 3, I think he wanted to provide guidance and advice to warn Timothy of the mistakes he saw others making. He wrote, "But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be," and then he shares a long list of unfortunate traits. Lovers of themselves, lovers of money. Can you think of anyone like that? I remember having plenty of conversations with classmates in college who were excited to get out there and get rich quick. Work for the most prestigious companies, earn the big bucks. Some of them really loved money, and they made it happen. And in the workplace, I remember coworkers who liked to share stories about how they were spending their money. One talked about buying an expensive wristwatch over the weekend, all cash. Another had just invested in premium real estate, right in the heart of downtown. Paul said, in the last days, people will be boastful, proud, abusive. That's an interesting one. You could argue that it's not necessarily bad to make money, just don't push it too far, don't be a lover of money. But what about abusive people? How abusive should we be? It's just a bad trait all around. People will be disobedient to their parents, ungrateful. Ooh, that's a good one. When's the last time you thanked God? People will be unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited. A lot of these sound like excuses to me, because clearly these people had a choice, but they chose the wrong path. Forgiveness is a choice. No one has to be brutal or rash. Paul was warning Timothy. He had a choice too. And so do we. Paul finishes the list saying, people will be lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying its power. This last one is the trickiest of all. People who appear to be good people on the outside, or in public, or at church, but everywhere else are simply lovers of themselves. So, what are we, as Christians, supposed to do with people like that? Paul said, have nothing to do with such people. They are the kind who worm their way into homes and gain control over gullible women, who are loaded down with sins and are swayed by all kinds of evil desires, always learning but never able to come to a knowledge of the truth. You might say, Jesus spent time with sinners, so it's okay if I do too. You could even say, they need me. I will help them see the light. But the sinners with Jesus were seeking the salvation he offered. They were looking to regain control of their lives and become lovers of the good. There's nothing wrong with coming from a life of sin. Who doesn't? But let's heed Paul's warning about how people will act in the last days, so we don't become like them. In Paul's conclusion, he writes, everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted, while evildoers and impostors will go from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived. But as for you, continue in what you have learned and have become convinced of, because you know those from whom you learned it, and how from infancy you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith in Jesus Christ.
지금까지 크로스포인트 주니어 처치에서 전해드렸습니다. 언어와 문화의 장벽을 없애고 실시간 동시 통역이 제공되는 크로스포인트 주니어 처치의 주일 예배 시간은 오전 11시이며 교회에 대한 안내는 847-212-6775로 문의해 주시길 바랍니다.